Hey guys, I can confidently say that for under $500, I may have found the most substantial roof rack that you can get for your 6 Gen Bronco. Not only is that price point extremely attractive, it'll hold me up, plus a whole lot more. Introducing the Hook Road Discovery Roof Rack for the 6 Gen Bronco. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Last year, I took an epically long road trip. I was gone for about a week, and I quickly learned that I desperately needed some sort of roof rack to help free up some space on the interior of the Bronco. I mean, we were absolutely just packed in there like sardines. It was quite hilarious. I had one very small little spot there for the child in the back seat, and we were literally from the floor to the ceiling. The Gazelle takes up a tremendous amount of space, and all the camping gear and everything, it just almost maxed out the capacity of the Raptor. So since then, I have been basically looking for the most economical roof rack that I could come up with that would hold a decent amount of weight, would be quiet, and well made. Came across Hook Road. They offer a $500 roof rack, and I'm thinking, man, $500. That is extremely value oriented, especially as hard as a dollar is to come by right now. $500, that is a fantastic price point. So I did a little further reading, and come to find out that this thing will hold about 800 pounds of evenly distributed weight. And I'm like, man, I would be all over that. Well, long story short, Hook Road actually reached out to me, but they wanted an honest review. So we are going to give an honest assessment and install this, and I'll give you all the good, the bad, and everything in between. So first things first, let's get this thing unboxed, and we'll get started on it. And if you noticed, yep, I'm down to one arm. Not to worry though, I guarantee you I probably should be able to work pretty quick, even with one hand, and we will see just how fast we can get this put on. Shipping came lightning fast. The product is well packaged. Shipping is actually provided by FedEx, and FedEx did get just a little bit carried away, so I had incurred just a slight little bit of warpage on one of those panels, but I was able to fix that. And we're just going to start with a simple unboxing here and laying out all of the slats and all the fairings and all the hardware. Real quick, just the initial impression, it's very sturdy looking, but I just want to show you the finish. All right, these are T-slotted. Hope you can really see that very well, but I kind of like it. It's just a nice textured flat black. It's almost the same color as the hardtop, but yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, and now I got one big box of hardware. So let's get into that real quick. I'll just look at it, and we should have some instructions as well. Also, if you're wondering, it's really, really, really hot. I mean, like super hot, and this adds like 20 degrees to it, so I'm gonna struggle through this with a little sweating. I'm gonna have to take a few breaks. Quick look at the brackets. They have a nice rubberized mounting surface on anything that comes in contact with your top. Look at that there. And you have a bag of hardware, which is all in the color black. Color instructions, QR code, probably has maybe a video. No, it's just an electronic version of the same thing. Super cool. All right, well, obviously I'm gonna need just a little bit of help here assembling some of this. So I'm gonna wait for help, and then we'll get on with it. So far, quality of materials, I give it an A. At the completion of steps 1 through 5, you will be left with the rear basket and the side mounts. All right, so I just basically decided to do this a little bit differently because I needed to do this on the table. So I started with one of the side rails, attached the 3 crossbars, used the T-channels all on one side, and Then I'm gonna lay it down, attach the other side rail, and then finally the last thing is I'm gonna put the rear fairing on. What do you think? Yeah.
Well, no, we have to act like we're in a tent, like that will make it better.
Act like we're in a tent?
Act like we're at a campsite outside.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's in the morning.
All right. A little bit more.
2, 3. Now you have to talk in the face for
Okay.
now.
And that's how easy that is. So now we got to put the other side on, and then we have to put the back on. What do you think?
That's good.
Good. All right.
Now I have to put my hand out over the camera.
It's massively hot out here, and I have some help here. And this is probably the last place she would like to be right now. It's out here screwing these button head bolts into this roof rack. But anyway, we have almost got this rear portion assembled. All right, and this is probably going to be the last step for today, but the rear cap, it's going to be using the shorter fat, the metric 8, 20 millimeter, one flat washer. The only difference is on this side, you're going to have a nut, a locking nut. It's also going to be used on the back. So. There. Just like that. One more to go. All right. Okay, we've got our rear base of our rack finished out here. Everything's not overly tight, but tight enough that it's not going to shift around. And now we're ready to put the brackets that will anchor it to the top. They are, you can see here, got a little, this one's going to be on the driver's side front. This offset one here will be driver's side rear. Your 2 notches on the very far outside will be passenger side rear, and the ones in the middle with 2 notches will be passenger side front. You're going to be using a washer, a lock nut, and the longer of the metric cap head bolt. These are going to attach here and here. Just holding that in place. That's good. Yeah, we got to be able to use to be able to move that around. So we're not gonna get that very tight. All right, guys, at the completion of this step, you are gonna look something like this. And again, it does have to be loose, because when you get it up to the vehicle, though, it's gonna squeeze around that those indentions in the back. All right, now at this point, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, I think so they get to this part, you're gonna put half of your luggage rack onto your vehicle, snap the bracket into the groove. I'm just gonna set this over out of the way because I'm not ready to do that. It is literally about 100 degrees in the shade today, a little uncomfortable. that black top's gonna be super hot. So at this point, I'm gonna get an assist here, put this somewhere in the shade, maybe inside the garage here, and we'll tackle this when we get all of it completed. For the front, we're gonna start with the front fairing and this crossbar here. You notice these square-shaped T-channel nuts. You're gonna have a total of 8. You're gonna use these really short metric 6 button head, and then you'll need 8 washers to go with these 8 screws. And your nuts obviously will get put in here. They are indexed, as you can see, yeah, right there. Kind of an idea how that's shaped. That's just gonna go in there, and then obviously you'll be moving them to line up with these holes. All right, I laid this short piece, flipped it upside down, and then just kind of got these nuts fairly close to where they needed to be. Then once that was done, I took the front fairing, laid it on top, and was able to just get about 1 thread started. And then if I needed to make any adjustments, I just kind of lifted back on it, and everything seemed to work pretty easy. I was sort of concerned it was going to be more difficult, but anyway, well, there we are. Just to make sure that I have this oriented correctly before we get it ready to mount that portion up there, I'm going to go ahead and take off the 2 accessory caps that are just over the windshield right there. And there'll be another one on the other side. They say accessory ready. We're going to go ahead and pop those off. All right, after those caps are off, you're going to be left with this. We're going to have to take this off. All right, and you can see by their pictures, kind of like that. And you're gonna be inset. So by the looks of it, this should be like the driver's side, and then your passenger side would be something like this. All right, so you're finished assembling these brackets. They're gonna look something like that. And again, do yourself a favor, and without trying to pass it through this point, just take your bolt, just get basically you're going to get about 1/4 of a thread started, and then you'll need to use an Allen wrench or the appropriate size hex socket to get in there and finish that. But just run your bolt through. It'll clean the paint off the bolt, and it will clean the paint out of the thread all at the same time without having to worry about cross threading or breaking your bolt off. All right, now we're going to attach the bracket to the fairing before we can attach the fairing to the vehicle. Button head screws. Going to need a couple of lock washers. And okay, and then kind of to my question earlier about whether or not this T-bar, the small reinforcement that's behind the fairing, will actually go right up to this bracket. So it's a good thing I left some room for adjustment just in case that was necessary. It looks like I got pretty close to being centered. With the front fairing gently lowered into place, it was time to secure it with 4 supplied nuts that are in your hardware kit. And since we've sort of jumped around with the instructions, now we're installing the rear basket portion. I had to get some help And I want to thank Jamie for helping me with this, because without the help, I would have not have been able to install this by myself. But put some towels up there just to protect everything. Those are loose. They're going to cap into place, and then we'll need to actually secure them by tightening up those clamshells. All right, so we got one side done. It's the back side of it. So basically, the way that thing works, once it gets tight, you don't really have to hold it in place. It only can go in there one way. There we go. All right, I'll get the other three tight. All right, your next step from this point would actually be to put the front fairing on, but again, we jumped ahead. So now we are attaching the side rails for the front basket. All right, so we are ready now for the crossbars, which I've got that in there. I'm using some towels to kind of prop it up. Towels or rolled up cardboard work excellent in this step to keep the top from getting scratched. Now we have our crossbars installed. Some protective towels just to keep from skinning anything up. Right here, you'll notice that this front portion right there, you can just see there's a slight little bend in that. I don't think that's really gonna hamper anything necessarily, but FedEx got a little rough with the box, and that was the only thing that really got messed up. Okay, at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tighten everything down, all of my crossbars, and I'm gonna give this just kind of like set it up to where it's lined up like it is on the other side over here. And the last thing we're gonna do is put the little connectors that join the front and the rear. All right, and your final step, you're gonna have these two brackets. You have an inside bracket and an outside bracket. It goes something like this, and then like that. Use this little thing here to hold that up, and that way I can do it without using this bum shoulder. All right, guys, and just disregard those silver washers. I just had to make do, but there it is. I still have to tighten up the other side, and then we'll do a final reveal, but very nice. Very nice. And again, we'll hold 800 pounds of evenly distributed weight, and we're supposed to be able to keep the noise to a minimum, which that'll be our final test. The installation process was quite simple. Everything fit and worked as it should. Took me about an hour and a half in actual working time. Would have been able to have achieved it basically by myself. The missing washers, though, I think I actually misplaced those, so no worries there. All right, now for a little road test here. I'm gonna turn the camera around. They do claim that under 60 miles an hour, it's quiet. I'll go with that assessment, but we're about 45 right at this point. Now let me switch the camera around. At about 58, 59, right at about 60, you start to get somewhat of a little bit of a whistle. Again, I'm like, no radio or anything. If I've got the radio on, I don't even hear it. I don't really focus on it. I'm going 65 right now, but you can kind of got that ever-present little bit of a whistle, and I think I've potentially figured out where the whistle is coming from. So as soon as we park, I'll show you some things that I think could be enhanced. to keep the wind noise down a little bit. Okay, you have these little tiny little gaps here and here. And I think that between that and possibly running something along this bottom edge to just disrupt the air a little bit, I think would quieten that up. And I'm gonna try that. And I've got a long trip coming up here in the next couple of days. And we'll talk about the rack more during that trip. And then I'll give a little wrap up afterward. But honestly, guys, you can't go wrong. For $500, this is a very well-made rack, and we're gonna put it to the test the coming weeks. And if you would like to get your own Hook Road rack, please follow my affiliate link in the description. And that would totally help me out a little bit to help put these videos together. I give it a thumbs up. I think it's a very, very well-made rack. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you got anything out of this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel and leave us a comment.